am here with Toby. We're broadcasting from COVID Central.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Today we're going to tackle something that we've done many times, which is logline jams. And this is just a little tweak from last time. I think we're starting to change the names of some of these cards and see what works best, whether they should be very vague or they should be more specific and that kind of thing. And then playing around with some of the the workflow itself. So I'm going to share the Logline Jam screen. This is what a logline is. Hopefully you can read that to yourself. But I mean, I think of it as a 2 or 3 sentence kind of act 1 and 2, roughly. Telling you sort of the protagonist, the dilemma they face, but not really resolving it. So that leaves it up to your imagination or to read the synopsis. Is there any other thought that you have as to how to craft a good or bad log line? You did mention that some of these were a little pedestrian. That's a nice way of putting it. These are real log lines that I took from a service. These are projects that were sold in December.
I mean, as far as I know, a log line is a sales thing. So it's got to sell your idea in an exciting way.
Ideally, yes.
So to start with the words set in 1984 or mid-level tech support or set, in fact, there's 2 of them, set in 1665 London. What? 1665, full stop. London, full stop. The bubonic plague, full stop. There you go. That's it. There's your log line.
Right,
there
so you're breaking my sentence rule, but you're absolutely right. So you're saying it's a marketing statement. It's like
I'm saying it's a marketing statement that's meant to grab people by the cojones and make them read the rest of make them want to go, yes, I want to read this.
Well,
or I want to watch it.
The mid-level tech one, I think, also has a slightly lazy thing where it goes, here's the protagonist and dilemma. Yeah. Okay, great. Then it goes, also there's roller skating, a lake of fire, and impending apocalypse. It's kind of hey, let's just throw everything in the kitchen sink in there.
They haven't finished. They haven't written the arc of the entire first series. That's what you do. There's going to be mayhem, magic, and maybe a unicorn.
There's going to be conflict. I promise that.
Oh, I would hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
these are not great examples. Maybe over time I'll try to assemble some really good ones, and if you can find any good ones, please by all means share them with me. That's a better idea. So I'm going to start off by giving you some crappy log lines to look at. Now, I guess we could say that in a short compressed time like this, the log lines we write are not going to be knock your socks off, but this is something to consider. This is the real world log lines. We're going to hopefully write something that's coherent. And then it can be worked on and tweaked to be something much more exciting over time. We're going to use a new deck. We're not using dramatic questions in these jams, but we're kind of using a new deck where the cards are called Modifier, Archetype, Conflict, Crisis. Modifiers are kind of like adjectives, archetypes are characters. So these are like modify the character in some way. So you have characters. These are sort of stereotypical characters you encounter, and then modifiers that modify them so that you can hopefully hone in on who is this character and then talk about it. And the idea is to spark our imagination so we don't spoon feed ourselves, although sometimes we do that as well. Conflicts and crises. I don't know. I'm still working on what these can be. Conflicts, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, but crises, I mean, sometimes it's a tempest in the teacup. Sometimes it's, world-ending apocalypse. I don't know. We can throw different levels of. Is a crisis just a higher level of conflict, perhaps? But if we can find a better way of putting
complication.
Complication in crisis or conflict complication?
No, conflict complication.
Okay. I just thought conflict crisis a nice ring to it, but you're right. It's crisis creates the sense that I've really got. I think it's something big here.
No, I mean, which is fine. But the thing is, when you get really big, as I found when I was doing it, there are very few because most are sort of subsets of it, as you'll find out when you read my things. Anyway.
Okay. So I'm going to zoom out for a moment, bypass the dev work that we did over here, and zoom in on our work today. So we have two jams here. One that's fairly kind of rote. I'm going to get rid of the Toby start here. That was instructions to you to do some
Thanks, and I
some
did.
preliminary work. Yeah, you did. I see that down there.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So what we did is we have kind of two jams planned. The first one is canned. These cards are ones that I wrote like a month ago. So I don't really remember what they are. So it'll be a surprise to me as well as to Toby. And then down here, Toby and I composed cards ourselves without either of us knowing what the other wrote. So that's also kind of like a surprise of sorts. So in this one, we're going to just grab cards from the right-hand side and put it on the desktop on the canvas as if the system was doing it. So I don't know if you've got your screen open. I mean, I'll start. Maybe I'll grab the file. I'll grab one there, and you can grab an archetype or grab any card you want.
I mean, you say that. No, hang on. I'll get it.
Yeah,
It's just
gotta get that.
it's not happy.
Selection
Right.
tool.
And archetype, yes.
Okay.
Let me make sure I've got the window. Sorry.
This is. I have to say though that
there we go.
We're using Miro, which is in many ways a fantastic application with there's a lot of fun, but for what we're using it for, it's not ideal because it's a drawing application. So it doesn't really think of these things as objects, and that can be very frustrating. Because I'm close to the crises, I'm just going to grab a crisis and put it up there too.
Great. Do you want me to do modifier?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I'll do
whatever's left.
Nope.
I'll make this a little bigger so that it's all that we can look at.
I thought that's just going to move it. Sorry. I should be better.
Difference between hand and pointer. Do you
I
know
understand that, but it's not actually picking up the thing. It's drawing a box. Is it a single click?
Sometimes, what do I do? I have the same problem at times, and there's a keyboard key that I use to change no, it doesn't work. Okay. Changing from a hand to a pointer.
I mean, I'm really sorry about this. I am on a thing, but it's sorry, you better do it.
While you're doing it, I'm going to I'll grab a conflict card. I'm going to put the conflict card there.
Because let me do it to begin with.
Well, at least you're participating because I got you to put one down.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel great.
All right, do you need my help? Okay,
don't feel incompetent. I can't look. I'm just drawing boxes. That's all I'm doing is drawing big.
I'm going to move an archetype there, and I'm going to move a modifier here. Okay.
There we go.
So maybe we'll reveal them one by one to make it in couples. So we'll reveal this couplet here for fun. So what do we got? We got a wily right brain. Okay. Does that suggest anything to you?
I can't remember what the hemispheres are. Is right?
Right is artistic. I mean,
right is artistic.
Ideally, I mean, this has probably been debunked, but it used to be that right was artistic and left was verbal reasoning. Okay. I'm going to turn these into non-logline cards so I can write stuff on them.
Unless it's a right brain means it's a correct brain.
Oh, okay. Someone who's always right.
Yes, I mean, or what if the future is divided up into people who are right brainers and left brainers?
Are sorted. Okay. So this is like one of those, apocalyptic things where it's like, what's that one that came out, the series recently where you have you're either the agrarian group or the warrior class.
Okay, right.
It's like one of those.
Yes, sort of a Brave New World type thing, yes.
But it's a wily right brain. So maybe this is somebody that they have a full
left brain,
but
left
the right
brain
wing's
who
very
snuck
wily.
into the right wings.
Yeah, it keeps sneaking in there. So it's like hijacked. Left brain gets hijacked. Something like that. Okay. We'll leave open the possibilities. Our conflict is a body swap. Oh dear. Okay, so now
Ooh, the
we've really
left brainer. Oh
left brain
no!
taking over the right brain, taking over the
How will
left
I
brain.
be mathematical? I'm just an
Well,
artist.
we got to remember that body swap, we can use this as a point of departure. It doesn't have to be literal. So a body of water could be swapped. Um, you could have an out-of-body experience. It could be transcendental, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I'll just say that so we don't
Mm-hmm.
use side.
Mm-hmm.
Transcendental. Basically, you're not who you think you are, or you are. It's also like schizophrenic. Well, anyway, something has taken control of you, possibly. Okay, then we have this other character couplet, and let's see what they are. An insecure mad scientist. Oh boy, it's starting to really now look like
Mm-hmm.
B horror films. Actually, this reminds me of that great thing in Young Frankenstein where he says, whose brain did you get?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he's like, what's wrong with the monster? And he's like, Abby something. Abby what?
That's right. That's right.
Normal? And he's like, you put an abnormal brain? And yeah. Okay. So what makes the mad scientist insecure? Well, first of all, I guess no one believes in him or anything he does. He's mad. But is there some other reason?
Well, is he doing the body swap to prove something?
Okay. To prove a point?
Hmm.
I mean, this is always, it's a bit trite perhaps, but it's the disgraced, excommunicated.
Yep.
Something
I
like
mean, and
that.
again, if we're being literal, he could be an angry scientist.
Okay. Or insecure because he's often hacked, or he's got mommy issues.
Why would he right brain body swap insecure mad scientist? Well, scientist would be a left brainer if the world has been divided into hemispherical groups. Is it the right brainers versus the left brainers? Is it a war between people who've been separated by their brains?
Well, aren't
Or
people?
mad scientist is attempting to create it to break down this world in which these artificial constructs have been placed upon people.
Well, it could be, yeah. It doesn't have to be literal. It could be that. Well, I mean, we do sometimes in the way we look at education, sort of we're trying to accommodate different ways of learning and decide that people are different, and we want to sort them and help them, and they're visual learners and this and that. So sorting people out by their brains is something we currently do, I guess. So if we don't look at it in terms of a bad B sci-fi horror movie, it could just be, sorting brains for society, which is not unusual to what we do now. And so the body swap thing, I guess, is you are in a way told this is the outcome for you. This is the track you should follow, but you may be for some reason in the wrong track, or feel you're in the wrong track, or in the wrong body, or something's going on. And the mad scientist is the cause of it, or something. Hacking brains, actually. In fact, that's probably going to become closer to reality, isn't it? Because they're looking at ways to do implants, so that we can affect our performance, our cognitive performance. So could be the insecurity is they're hacked, but we're hacking brains on purpose, and it opens us up to control. In fact, isn't our political situation a bit like that? It's like everyone, like half the country's brains have been hacked by some kind of warped disease,
Mm-hmm.
and reality is no longer something we can agree on. So that's like propaganda being used, like cult propaganda, being used in a way. Oops, how do I spell propaganda? It's like a country. All right, let's have a peek at the crisis. It's a natural disaster. Okay. Well, the whole thing is a disaster. Well, at the moment, I don't know. We have the things that have come out of the discussion. I think we can kind of work with. I'm going to put it down here for a moment. As we have people sorted by their brains. Okay. We have brains augmented through device, augmented somehow, augmented by science, by technology. We have brains hacked. That's the insecurity. And we have, I guess, he's our protagonist is the mad scientist, or it's the right brain, or the person. It could be mad scientist. Almost sounds like it's the adversary here, but what makes them mad? Are they just angry, or are they actually off their nut?
Well, it depends if they set up the system or if they're trying to break it. I mean, I wondered if the arts in the future are seen as useless, so all right brains have been stored in a thing like that giant seed ark and frozen, so the world is filled with rational, scientific people. And someone decides that that's unacceptable. They have to free.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, I was actually thinking about something else, but I think it can fit into that, which is better managed society. So we've had this experience now of the society of chaos, and so the solution is less chaos, is more control, more effective propaganda. Right. So let's go. We've used social media. Okay, that's fairly effective in hiving off a section of the community, of the society, to control them. But it would be much better if we can get directly into the brains. And I guess, like you're saying, people that are more divergent thinkers, that's not good. It's going to be harder to control those people. So we're going to have to persecute them or do something to kind of separate them from science. Okay, so if I'm going to try to attempt a log line, and it's going to be very messy because we're doing this on the fly, but it'll be like, let's say to better control society, divergent and creative thinkers are considered dangerous. All right, that's the first thing. Okay, and I'm going to change this so it isn't quite so skewed there. So to better control society, divergent creative thinkers are considered more dangerous. What do we have here? We have brain hacking tech used to manipulate consent. And then what is our pushback here? we're going to make the mad scientist our hero, or is he someone that helped architect this thing and then regrets the outcome?
Or is it this oncoming natural disaster that he's predicting that no one else thinks is going to happen that convinces
this could be
him
like
that he has to do this thing? This could be like Krypton.
The natural disaster is like something we did in the previous one, which is this is hive death, right? What is it called? When all the bees die. It's like you have too much consistency. There's not enough diversity, right? Lack of diversity means end of mankind. Okay. How's that for now?
Okay.
All right. So we've got a log line that isn't super sexy yet, but it has the elements of this. So I'm going to put this one over here. And great. Okay, I'm going to take some of this stuff off the table and put it over here for, for posterity. And I've also, unfortunately, taken away my placements. I need those. This is why we need a special dedicated application, not this one. Yeah, because it's hard to get things to move the way we want. Okay, so that's gone a funny color. Okay, reset, and let's do one more and see where that leads us. All right, I guess I'll do the dragging.
Thanks. I mean, I'll try.
Okay, archetype. I'm going to take an archetype and put it there.
Yeah, okay. No, I've got a modifier.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice. He's got a modifier.
And I'll see if I can do a conflict as well.
You take a crisis.
Oh, gee.
Another modifier. Okay, nice one. I'll do the honors of the last archetype. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm not timing this. We're just kind of going loose. Here's our character couplet. We have a devoted. Oh no, we gotta get rid of left brain. Jesus. Sorry. Those cards are too close together. Damn it.
That's the one I grabbed. So there you go.
Okay.
Devoted.
Toby. All right. We have a devoted wise fool. Okay. Devoted to someone who doesn't deserve his devotion. He doesn't see, he or she, the wise fool could of course be female. I just naturally go there, sorry. Someone that they feel really close to and they don't see their faults, I think is what comes to my mind. And so they're a fool because they don't see that actually they're blinded, by their faults, right? So you would call this like sort of blind devotion leads to destruction is the premise that comes to mind. But that idea that you got to be careful. Gosh, wise fools. I'm trying to think of an interesting. Do I know any wise? I guess I have been a fool. The wise part.
I mean, is it accidental or is it studied?
What does that mean?
Well, in that, is a person appearing to be foolish when they're wise, or is it a God, what's the word? Is it an idiot savant we're talking about here, with tremendous power, tremendous intellect on a tightly focused thing, unwise otherwise?
I see.
Is a person devoted to appearing to be a wise fool? So is it some sort of prophet or religious leader or otherwise cult figure who has to maintain this illusion of being wise and yet is a fool? Or
so I see that's the charlatan.
Yes.
There. I was Okay, I was thinking of a different direction, which is like um, I can't help. Oh, wait, love wants what it wants. You
Mm.
know how someone can say, well, I know this person has their flaws, but I just love them, and the heart, what is it, the heart wants or whatever?
Yes, the heart wants what the heart needs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Something like that. So the wise fool is saying, I know this person is flawed, maybe even dangerous, but I can't help myself. Like it's a parent of a child or a devoted lover or something is like, well, I something like that. Okay.
Mm.
The conflict that they face is a Faustian bargain. Okay, so that's usually quite helpful. Already it feels like all these things we talked about work. The charlatan in particular,
Mm.
who's leading the congregation over the edge,
Mm.
um, and knows what they're doing, and
And,
is
and is willing
for
to
a reason.
sacrifice them to maintain his control over the cult.
Mm,
I mean, that's the question: is he or she or non-binary willing to sacrifice all of their followers in order to remain leader?
mm.
Where they've made a choice to eliminate a rival leader, but in so doing have to live out the repercussions of that choice.
Mm.
So it could be a political leader, it could be a religious leader.
I was
Sounding more
also
like a
going.
populist leader.
I was thinking about in the context of the thread that where I was going. I was imagining that um, it's the what is it, the eagle and the rat or something.
Hmm.
Uh, there was a story from I think it was from a play written by the right stuff, that actor who's a writer, playwright, actor,
Mm.
from my memory is lapsing. Anyway, good playwright. And I think it was one of his plays. He has a story where the eagle really wants this creature, which is a rat or something, and he grabs it and he's lifting it up into the sky. Um, and the creature has, claws and it's tearing out the eagle's stomach. But the eagle can't let go because it really wants the prey, but it's being killed by it. So they're sort of stuck in this loop of destruction. So I'm just thinking of the wise fool in terms of they're in love with someone or devoted to someone who is killing them, or it's a relationship that'll end badly. So a relationship that will be the death of them or something, and they know that, but what can they do? I am a wise fool. That was a lot of explanation. Didn't deserve that long. Okay. These guys, the next couplet is a slippery whiskey priest. So the whiskey priest, I mean, this is somebody who is very flawed, but they have a position of some authority, right? Um, so the fact that they're slippery sounds like they're not fully open about whatever it is, the flaws they have. Um, so it's interesting. Do we have a relationship between the devoted wise fool and the slippery whiskey priest? And is that the Faustian bargain? It's between them. It's kind of an interesting one. I mean, this sounds like the stuff that you said sounds like it goes with the whiskey priest. Um, that they have this position of authority which they're abusing, and they're
Yes.
slippery, so they know that they're doing that. Uh, and the wise fool is supportive and always loyal.
I mean, are they rivals for the soul of a community?
Hmm. Well, the Faustian bargain sounds to me like they. It's kind of interesting. They both have an agenda, and maybe the agenda there's a crossing point, and that's why they have to work together. But they clearly, well, they have to work together, but they are at some point going to have to separate because it's only for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need a prompt of some kind to force us to accommodate something unreasonable.
Well, maybe the crisis will do that.
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, come on, crisis, give us something to really sink our teeth into. A dumpster fire.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it sounds like all these characters. God, it's almost sounding political to me. I can think of some political characters. Like when I think of Trump and McConnell and these others, I think of a wise fool, free whiskey dumpster fire. Anyway, let's see. The devoted wise fool could be in a Faustian bargain with the slippery priest. I think that seems kind of interesting. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. They need each other for some reason. Well, then maybe that's why the fool is wise and devoted. It's like they have to work with the devil, basically, to get what they want.
But in doing so, have compromised it utterly.
Yeah. Well, they damn themselves, but save the community. Maybe is their thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a sacrifice. It's so unlike Faust, who did it for vainglory or whatever. This is a self-sacrifice. That's the wise fool, I guess. So this almost looks like it's from the wise fool's point of view. That's the wise fool. It is starting to sound like one of these sort of congregations or something, but I wonder if there's a way to take it away from that domain.
Sure. I mean, the political thing would work. Or,
the whiskey priest is just someone who has a position of authority but is deeply flawed, and in this case, not letting on to it. So it's almost like we need a realm to place this in, besides the obvious. The obvious is like it's some kind of religious thing, but where could they be? They're facing a dumpster fire. It's like when everything comes to a head and just burn it all down is the only solution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to think of how these are interesting characters, but I don't know where they are, what they're doing. I feel like it needs a little something else to prompt us. All right, I'm not going to belabor that. That one I feel has an interesting starting point, but struggle to get a log line out of it. Okay, let's move on to the next set and see what happens here. In fact, now that I do this, I feel like we're going to suffer the same problems because this is a variation of what we just did. But let's do it anyway to see what the playthrough is like. But I feel like now,
interesting characters are coming out of it, though. But it's not setting up a plot. This isn't great for a log line. It's very good for putting characters together and seeing the opposition between them.
Yes, you're right. The log line needs like to do a log line, we need an anchor, which is what I mean by the realm. We need some kind of anchor, be it a location or a
But
domain,
if
or an
someone
industry or something.
brought the anchor of a log line to it, i.e., the question that they want discussed, which is hopefully what they'll have gotten from an earlier jam, that could work.
Well, I think we did once before, maybe we introduced topics, and I didn't put topics in this, but that could be an anchor. Might not be, it could be one of a number of anchors. So it could be, like, in fact, now that I think about it, it could be the dramatic question that's kind of an anchor, or it could be the topic that's an anchor. It could be a prompt that is just something that comes out of left field that forces us to reconsider everything, and that could be a way to anchor it. So it feels like we need something other than just the characters. But you're right. The characters, we're talking about characters in conflict, and that has interesting character development discussion. In fact, the crisis, in a way, is not helpful for what we're doing, because it's just, what are these characters and what's their conflict? And that's the essence of what's coming out of it. Okay, well, we'll try this variation to see if it's any different. In this variation, we're going to assemble, I'm going to be the computer assembling a combination where it takes a modifier from one, an archetype from the other, to make sure that they're kind of mixed up. Likewise, let's see, I'll take an archetype from myself and a modifier from you. And let's see, conflict-wise, I'm going to have to take a conflict that we haven't used yet, and a crisis we haven't used yet. Okay. And we're going to do like what I'm going to call like the fruit machine nudge, which is that we can hold or swap certain things character-wise.
Okay.
Maybe we can also hold or swap the conflict too. We'll play free with that. Maybe I'll do that just for maybe a possibility. But let's say the crisis is an anchor. Let's try that. So let's see what our crisis is. It's the worst thing ever.
Okay.
Okay, that's the crisis, and this has to go behind, and it's acting up. Go to the back, please. There we go. So our crisis is the worst thing ever. All right. So our first character couplet is social media obsessed scientist. Okay, so they're somebody that I guess lives on YouTube or Twitch or TikTok.
Or is behind the scenes working on them, so is crunching numbers and seeing patterns in people's posts.
Oh, it's like a Facebook,
yes, and trying to nudge them in certain ways. So it's a person who's continually running numbers for whatever shadowy forces Facebook is sharing those details with.
Okay, like it. The next one is a paranoid narcissist.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, narcissists are a bit paranoid, actually. So there we go. This one particularly so. So we've got not a mad scientist, socially obsessed, media obsessed scientist, and a paranoid narcissist. Boy, those two go together nicely on social media platforms. And the conflict that they have, that they share, is a conflict. Yeah, that's not very helpful. That's good. Because that's the wrong thing that's gone to the front. Send that back. Make this a class conflict. Yeah. Tricky one.
Well, we're going to swap that one.
Yeah, we could vote. We're going to vote for swap. Do you vote for swap? It's only two of us.
Yeah.
To drag the cards around. Okay, we vote for a swap. All right, so we're going to swap that out. Goodbye, class conflict. I'm going to grab another one. Let's see. Boing. Okay, so this one is a cover-up.
Okay.
All right, that works better. The worst thing ever. I like your number.
A paranoid narcissist president makes dubious social media posts, but a social media obsessed scientist realizes that there is an alarming pattern to them.
Alarming pattern. Okay, sorry, I was copying what you were saying, and then I ran into Miro hell, and that it won't let me edit the right thing and all that. So I'm just gonna go blah blah. Just put some text there. So okay, paranoid narcissist is the president, I presume.
It could be a president. It could be prime minister. It could be. We have there's a whole slew of world leaders at the moment who.
A pattern, a disturbing pattern to it.
Or they deleted something, and because it's a cover-up, so it's either something's been deleted that the scientists saw because they have access to behind-the-scenes stuff.
Okay, let's just for a moment, to humor me. I mean, we had this happen in reality, right? We had a situation with Cambridge Analytica where it was believed that they had taken all this data and was using it to manipulate the public through social media to help the paranoid narcissist in office.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a real world phenomenon. Now, that is very interesting. And is there a way that we can sort of explore it, but not so on the nose, so it isn't exactly as it played out? What happened in that case? I mean, I think ultimately it was felt that perhaps that was overblown a bit. The Cambridge Analytica was not such an evil genius as was surmised, and so maybe it was a bit over-egged. But nevertheless, there is that's the recipe for future problems, that these social platforms like Facebook, etc., have enormous amounts of data on the public that can be used to nudge them in little ways over long periods of time towards radicalization or conspiracy theories or whatever it is that you want them to think and believe. And so having that under the control of a paranoid narcissist is pretty dangerous in a way, because they are trying to obviously cover up the reality of what's going on. And Zuckerberg does not behave like a paranoid narcissist, but I mean, it's not hard to believe that someone who runs a company like this could be. So that's another possibility. That, I mean, the what if then for me, just to kind of take this into a different level, is what if Facebook is not what we think it is, right? We think that it's this sort of social media platform that connects people and creates community, right? But what if that's not what its intention is?
That's very good.
Right? What might it really be up to? So, for example, Facebook exists for social engineering, let's say, kind of a simple idea, but maybe we can take that into some other realm. But that they are not who they say they are. Are they a rival intelligence operation? That it works, that exists like when you how you used to implant spies? Well, you implant a whole social media platform to manipulate the public, right? So are they a rival intelligence agency? I mean, I think at the moment it's kind of interesting because they seem to be it was not they don't behave as if it's their objective to manipulate the public the way they do, but they're certainly good at it, certainly effective at it. So they can deny all they want, but they are essentially creating a platform for paranoia, fear, hysteria, and all the rest of it. Or so if they're a rival intelligence agency, that's kind of on the nose. But what if they're a death cult?
Ooh.
And it's they have an nihilistic intent, nihilistic intent, and they just want the society to degrade and fall apart and combust. It's end of empire. Let's hasten the end of empire, something like that. So the paranoid narcissist is like, you know, the CEO who says, I want to remake the country in my image, you know, with myself as their leader because it's all corrupt. So I'm going to cleanse society. I'm going to use my social media platform. So I guess, I mean, in an attempt to sort of come up with some log line that we can work on in the future, I'll say something like the largest social media platform is involved, is manipulating the public for a nefarious. We don't know what it is, but it's a nefarious purpose of some kind, and that's the setup. One of their data scientists discovers the true cause of their charismatic leader. And risks their life and the fate of the nation.
The free world.
The free world. To put things right. I know, something like that. Okay.
That's good.
All right.
Well done.
We got a log line.
That's really good. That was you, man. That was very good.
Oh man. But it was a joint. It was a joint effort.
No, that wasn't. That was you. That was good.
All right, so we got a log line there. Let's do this one more time. See what happens. We didn't do a lot of nudging, you know, which I thought was kind of interesting. We kind of kept the first thing that came across. All right, and then these things have, of course, gone the wrong color because that's what happens. All right, so now doing the same thing, I'm going to assemble. Let's see. This time I'm going to take a conflict from your pile. Oh, I didn't use our conflicts. That's what I didn't do last time. You know what? I'll do two conflicts. I'll do like a twofer, and we can decide. And take. We both got the same number of modifiers, so I'll take a modifier from you, and an archetype here. Archetype from me, and crisis. Let's go with two. Let's do a two for crises as well, because we got time for it, man.
Actually, don't do that one. I saw what it was. Do another one.
No, okay, not that one. All right.
Yeah, not that one. It's just we've done that. It was natural or unnatural disaster.
Oh, I see. Or unnatural. I like that. Okay, so our first.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to vis-a-vis the Facebook thing. If you want to go the Lovecraft route, then they are worshippers of some ancient god.
Oh, okay.
And they are making us all into the cultists. They're using our social things as an energy to summon something deeply unpleasant.
For some reason, when you said that, it made me think of something really, really tame. Like you went for, you know, the epic, you know, thing, and I started thinking about brunch clubs.
Okay.
Like people that meet up for brunch. Because it's a topic, it's a book club or an investment club or something, and they try to convince each other that they're like the social platform. And there's this one investment club of Blue Rinse Brigade ladies who is really successful, and it's people want to know, what are they investing in, right? So I was trying to think of like another kind of social media platform, like being the brunch club, and holding lots of power over people, and there's a secret. Okay, anyway, moving along, let's see what our conflict is out of curiosity. We have a bad mentor. Okay, so and let's go for two to consider. Let's try this as an option. So we have the roommate from hell and a bad mentor as options of our conflict. Okay, the roommate from hell, I can empathize with that one. The bad mentor. Yeah, this is the person who just doesn't give a crap, or they lead you, or
Yeah,
they
or is
on
leading you
purpose lead you to
astray.
make terrible decisions. Lead
Yes.
you astray.
Well, like training day, they can be okay, Cat. This is no. Like training day, they can be actually nasty.
Yeah, they want you to feel. They want to pull you down to their level. I want you to experience the harm that I've felt,
Hmm.
so that we're blood brothers.
Hmm.
Okay, here is our first.
Okay.
A zealous criminal.
Hmm.
Mm, right. They could be the bad mentor, or they're being mentored by the roommate from hell.
Yeah, or they've become a zealous criminal because of a bad mentor,
Yeah.
or they don't know they're a criminal. They are being prepped to be a zealous criminal by a bad mentor.
This makes me think of something I heard about white collar crime, where they say, it always starts off very innocently. Someone says, I need you to do me a favor. And then they don't ask a big favor, just a
Mm.
little one. And they kind of lure you in this way. Then they ask for a bigger favor, a bigger favor. And by then, you can't say no, because it's like, well, you did these other things for me, right? You
Right.
can't claim
You're now
moral,
locked into
ethical,
it.
right. So it's sort of like the slippery slope by degrees. So the bad mentor makes me think of that scenario where it's like,
Hmm.
well, let me turn you into a criminal, right? You start off being someone who's like an accountant, and then before you know it, you're cooking books, you've got the slush funds going and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, how did I get myself in this position? Well, the bad mentor. Um, so actually, this makes me think that maybe as an anchor, what we can do is sort of try to anchor that in a specific character. Like I was, saying, it's like an accountant or something, but and I can't spell accountant, um, but accountant at a big pharma. I know, just sort of like some way to anchor
Hmm.
that, you know. Uh, so that's the zealous criminal. It doesn't come to mind that they'd be a zealous criminal. It's just that they're led on through a life of white collar crime, for example. What kind of zealous criminal do you think of that either had a bad mentor or is a bad mentor?
Well, I mean, usually this sort of thing points into a heist movie, doesn't it? Where a person is either being groomed to participate or is grooming, is gathering the group.
So it's the heist master
I mean,
putting
zealous. Does
together.
that mean they're driven? Does that mean they have a moral code?
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny. Uh,
Or it's
the
not even a moral code. If you're zealous, it's you want to be the best
Robin
at
Hood.
it.
Well, it's
So
Robin Hood,
yeah, I mean, it's Robin Hood could do
right?
that. I mean, or it's you're old fashioned. You have to. There are certain you won't do things in you won't take shortcuts. You have an honor to you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like the
Which that
honor.
that feels more like mafia, doesn't it, than anything else.
Well, the zealous. I like the idea is like I only do crimes that don't harm people, right?
Hmm.
The victimless crimes. That's
Hmm.
the word I was thinking of. They say like insurance fraud is a victimless crime, right? That's the
Yeah.
zealous criminal.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I can see something kind of, you know, this criminal who's really good at what they do, and everybody wants to work with them, but they
Mm.
have this code that's so um, tight and specific, and it's like I don't work on Saturdays because of I know Sabbath or whatever, and I have this, and then and it's like working with this person is really complicated, and it's like only victimless crimes, only victimless crimes. It's like, well,
Right.
okay, right, So if you want to be so maybe they're a bad mentor if you want to just be anything goes criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next reveal is going to be an amoral by the book guy. Oh, God.
Well, I mean,
Well,
if you
that's a
take the
roommate from
letter of
hell.
the law, right, then
Or
you are amoral.
oh, nice idea. Okay.
So someone who is so interesting enough, they're both zealots, right? Here's a guy who the law is absolutely rigid, and here's a guy who's saying, no, no, I do crimes that don't hurt people and help people, in fact.
I was so sorry. I was thinking immoral, but you're right,
Mm-hmm.
amoral. They're like,
Amoral.
by the book.
Yeah.
Hey, my feelings don't come into it. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And the zealous criminal with the
So you've got someone who's living in the gray areas and someone who's not. Now, this is a perfect odd couple,
yeah.
like an odd couple heist movie. The person needs the best thing. It could be an escape driver, it could be a safe cracker, it could be a this, but they both have completely different codes. Otherwise, it would be the implacable lawman versus the gray area nice guy crook, or nice gal crook, or nice
Well,
self-identifying as
the
anything
the
crook.
the heist movie. I mean, that's an interesting anchor, right? So if we said this is a heist story, then the perfect team to it's Ocean's 11 or something, but
Mhm.
you've got all these. We've already got these two difficult misfits. Well, I mean, it's actually it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but I'm just thinking the zealous aspect could be that because we did the previous jam about the whiskey priest and all this, it could be someone from the congregation saying we've got to break into the into the the religious complex and steal this thing, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so it has all this overtones of who are you going to get to be on the heist of a religious superstructure. I mean, it's not your usual. It's not a bank, and all the usual things you might do to blag your way in have to be different now because it's like a large TV evangelist place or something, and the level of complicity and subterfuge has to be very different. So I don't know. I'm thinking of another anchor, which is like Jerry Falwell's you know church of everything, whatever it is. I don't know what they calls his.
Right. So I give people hope. Sure, I'm taking their money, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Falwells had the scandal recently, right? So it's like this, maybe they need to the only thing that he keeps on him at all times is his Bible, and it must have something in it, the codes to something or the proof of something, and we've got to go
right.
Falwell's Bible, Jerry Falwell.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever,
So a
whatever.
criminal whose all of his mother's stuff ended up being stolen by one of these evangelists decides to go and get it back.
Okay, and so we have, very moral code of conduct criminals here. The by the book guy, I think that character sounds like lots of comedy, doesn't it? It's like we can't do that because it breaks this covenant, and it's like, well, there's no other way. It's like we can't cut corners. It has to be done, by the book. By the book is, in accordance with this Bible or this holy book, right? It could be a very diverse group. You could have, someone by the Quran. Everything has to be done by the Quran. And you can't or whatever it is, and you can't. I sort of see this international diverse zealots that all have different codes that they have to follow, and for some reason they have to work together. It's like Jerusalem.
Yes.
Where so that's my kind of anchor. This is like a virtual Jerusalem where everybody has to work together, but they have completely opposite views on so many things, or at least they think they do. But of course, there's a lot of commonality, right? So this is okay. So all right. So I think this is working on, and I think we can get there. The basic idea here is that we have a diverse, a religiously, a diverse group of religious zealots need to band together to break into the church of everything and steal the leader's Bible. In order to expose the whatever. But they struggle to manage their idiosyncrasies. So anyway, it could be written a bit better, but that's the basic log line. We can see what's going to transpire here. All right. So I think I will kind of leave it at that today. We have the largest social media platform is manipulating the public for nefarious purposes. One of their data scientists discovers the true cause of their charismatic leader and risks their life and fate of the free world to put things right. We have a diverse group of religious zealots need to band together to break into the church of everything and steal the leader's Bible in order to expose the whatever, but they struggle to manage their idiosyncrasies, right? And we've got this sort of amoral.
But you didn't do the last thing.
What was the last thing? Sorry.
The crisis.
Oh God, the crisis. Jeez.
Which hopefully will explain what the whatever is.
I don't want to ever see.
Okay. No.
That's excommunication. Ticking clock. Okay. Well, there's a countdown to something. They got to get this soon because right.
He's siphoning away all his money, so he's shifting.
Right. If they don't stop him before midnight, he steals all their money. Acapulco, since that came up earlier. There we go. But see ya. He's going to rip off everyone in the congregation. So the whole, okay. Yeah. So that's why it's the church of everything, because it's got every religious creed. It's like, come to the church of everything if you are, if you study, if you worship, whatever you worship, if you're Buddhist, Jewish, whatever it is, come to the church of everything. This is sort of like, it's a new age religion that encompasses all, and everyone really believes in this. Hey, it's everything, but really it's a huge scam. And and they have to. It's a heist movie, but of course they're all very religious, good, moral people, right? So it's very hard to get them to do what they have to do, to pull out, to find their nefarious place, to pull this off. And then earlier we had another one, which was to better control society, divergent and creative thinkers are considered dangerous. Brain hacking tech is used to manipulate consent or manufacture consent. Oh, I want to put that little Noam Chomsky reference there. Manufacture consent And then, of course, the crisis is high of death. There's a lack of diversity that could mean the end of mankind. All right. 3 proto-log lines. Of course, we need to juice them up and make them marketing savvy. But hell, any one of those 3 are more interesting to me than some of the other ones we read earlier. So we're
sad but true.
All right. So I think that the second one had a good pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess part of it is because we could sort of do the options, discuss. I liked also how we started to create anchors for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So
either we codify that in the way the game is played, or else we just know, hey, one of the things we got to do is try to anchor this stuff. So when we get criminal, let's think about who is this element criminal, where are they, what are they doing? Same for the next amoral by the book guy, and then we created a heist story and then kind of evangelist TV thing, and it was like, okay, those were anchors that were helpful. So I mean, we could come up with some cards for that just to see what it does, I suppose. But we talked about topics, dramatic questions being anchors, but maybe we could have maybe that's like topics, because it could have been heist or TV evangelism or something, and then we go. So we did it ourselves, but it might be nice to have cards to sort of prompt that. And I sort of like the kind of dual situation of 2 crises, 2 conflicts here, because it gave us some flexibility. So I thought Roommate from Hell was going to be the winner, but actually Bad Mentor was more promising in the conversation.
I don't know. It works with, Roommate from Hell again is the forced together into a group. So
yeah, you can imagine them all having to live together for a period of time so that they don't tip anyone off to their what they're up to.
But again, it's kind of, this is meant to be a helpful engine. So there's no reason why you couldn't have a set of genre cards, a set of tone cards that come in as well. If you feel like you're missing something, or you feel as though it just needs something a bit more gritty to get a hold of, or if it's leading away from the direction you're interested in, which is the comedy element, let's say, or this or that.
These decks could be available. So you're saying, you just go, okay, let's try this, let's throw it in and see what happens. You can have a process, which is sort of what we did, but we embellished it as we went along, because we said, well, let's tweak this a little bit. So so it could be other decks and stuff as well that are sitting there nearby. You say, oh, let's see what happens.
They're just there to stir something,
to stir up the hornet's nest of our brains. Yeah.
Oh, mine are very sleepy hornets.
Yeah, I felt sleepy today too. Because you've been working on some projects, right? So that's I had a terrible sleepless night as well.
It's no good.
Yeah, I don't know what is up with that.
But look, at least you've got sun, which is also making you invisible in spots, which is amusing. It's not worked on the face. It worked on your hands, though.
Okay, that's funny. My chair disappears. Hey, no chair.
Gone again.
Chair. Oh, there's no chair. How am I sitting without the chair? Simple pleasures. I have sunshine. Yeah, that's nice. The weather here is actually really, really nice today. So
good.
So I'll probably take some aspirin and try to get outside. I haven't been outside in 4 days. So
oh Lord,
4 or 5. So that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think you should.
Going outside might really, open things up for me. Yeah. I'm you asked me earlier, I'm good, but some people, who are close to other people I know have died from COVID, and others have been in serious poor health from it. So it feels like it's going to be a painful Christmas, painful winter. So I hope that everyone stays safe and does what they can to protect one another in this difficult time. So that's why I'm inside.
Well said. No. Well said.
I'm doing my part not to super spread anything. Yeah. So, well, good luck with the project you're working on,
Thank
and hope to see you next week if I
Absolutely.
can get
Yes.
your time. Excellent.
Yes.
All right, Toby. Thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Thanks, man. You
Speak
take
to you
care. Okay.
soon. Take care.
Bye.